Alright, I am live. Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm the Breakfast Bandit and today I'm going to be playing some more Devoid. I still really gotta decide what I'm actually saying at the beginning. It just doesn't quite rhyme to just be like, well, I am at the moment. Let me snap first a bit. I could just go with that for a bit, but yeah. Definitely is crazy how I'm still kind of bad at that, just after the amount of episodes I've done, yeah. Definitely is nice though, because I've actually played an obby just before stream as well. Definitely does do me a bit good if I'm just try-harding at something before this, which I suppose that does mean that, well, I just do kind of suck for not completing it, but it still does definitely make this stream better, and I think I might even need to get away from that obby a bit. It's been about 2 hours and 20 minutes since I started it, and there were a lot of interruptions just in the first half an hour, and also me going up to go to the bathroom, but I mean, for the most part, it was still a very tricky tier 6, and yeah, definitely compared to the last tier 6 I played, because I bit that one, I think maybe in an hour. So to say the least, I just really don't like tier 6s sometimes. I mean, I do like them, but it's kind of like a love-hate relationship. Because, well, you just got this straightforward-looking obby that just turns out to be a nightmare to get through. So I do just want to get through it already, but I haven't really been able to. Which I think tomorrow what I'll be doing because of that is, well, not playing a tier 7 tonight. Because there are actually some videos that I want to watch, like, I mean, Val's just going to a shooting range, I suppose, which I'm keen to watch because, well, I'm not even quite sure why. I think I'm just almost hoping that just the content from Val's video is just good. Or at least that's what I'm thinking. It just really does feel like a lot of Val's content has just been lacking for me at the moment. Which, I mean, according to the view count is definitely the case, and I mean, she is still doing good. I mean, she's going to places and generally trying out new things, so that is quite nice, though. It's not as good as something like just going into Garlic Phone just randomly with a whole bunch of random VTubers and going hog wild that, so I can't really say that a lot of them are enjoyable lately, but I mean, I can always hope. Because I mean, the fact is, Bao's still trying as well, so I also have a feeling that soon she'll do pretty good, and the thing is, you can't really make good content constantly, and yeah, just look at me, for example. I just have not really been streaming just TOTS lately. Because I mean, I do want to go back into TOTS badly, but I just have chosen not to today because well, I think I just wanted to beat some more tier lobbies, and that was that. So I've just decided not to go into it, which I am still sacrificing half an hour every single day until I actually beat TOTS, so I do definitely want to get it done soon. Plus, I do just generally want to get better as well at video games generally, which, I mean, I am already surprisingly good at video games from what I've seen today, and, well, that's because a friend of mine, I'll just call him Carson. Me and Carson were catching up because, well, Carson just randomly messaged me, just almost wondering if I've gotten hacked, and at the same time generally asking if he wants to play with me. Probably that was priority, but I did just send him a random video, and it's like, oh my goodness, bandits hacked. And I mean, that is fair enough. I mean, it's not predictable behavior to do, which I'm actually quite flattered by that, because chat, being unpredictable is amazing, and I like that, because it makes a lot of people laugh. Because there was one time where I got a really good laugh out. And actually multiple times now that I'm thinking about where I got multiple laughs out of Trilad. Just almost coming back to a stream and making a knock-knock joke. He googled that one, even though I do have to admit that that one was stolen. But it was stolen for good reason. And the banana skin thing, which wasn't stolen, which I was quite happy about. About how I've just decided that that's going to be my hobby from now on. Which I was technically inspired off of other people, but a life without an inspiration is a life in a boring office job stamping papers all day. Or something that would give just the most money, boring stuff. So, yeah. It definitely was just quite entertaining to just do that stuff, and both reactions so far are quite nice, and I'd say my goal is to try and get as many of those as possible without just overall making my content just being about gags. Because, well, if gags are done right, then they're really good, kind of like One Punch Man being just there. Pretty much the entire story about One Punch Man is about everybody fights each other until One Punch Man just gets there and punches the bad guy, which is really funny. Because I just did it on purpose just to make it funny, yet you got a tough guy. Because that's Saitama. I love him as a character. And as much as something like Mob Psycho is written better, that still just feels a little bit too much like Jujutsu Kaisen, so I've just gone away from that. I tried it out, chat, but I would rather rewatch the entire thing of One Punch Man than, well, watch the rest of Mob Psycho, because, well, Mob Psycho just feels like gags, but in a bad way. One Punch Man at least makes it very funny. Because, yeah, I just remember just this one scene where just this ninja guy just gets his nuts blown by Saitama whilst holding his fist still. And I mean blown by the fist. As man, that Saitama just decided, you know what, I'm not gonna move my fist at all because, well, if I punch this man, he is going to be like one of those forklifts in Forklift Simulator. And he's gonna go flying into outer space just because, well, I'm too strong. And then he just leaves his fist there and he just punches the ninja guy on the ballsack. Just directly there. The man was doing the splits. Saitama didn't care. He just held his fist out. And I don't think that guy will have children anymore. I mean, if the dude moved his fist even in the slightest bit, or even the slightest motion, that guy would have gone flying, but for the most part he didn't, so... yeah. There's stuff like that compared to just a dude who just happens to get his top part of his head bald, who becomes naked and just forgives. I mean, even the character building in there is more realistic in One Punch Man. As well. Mob Psycho just makes it awkward. Oh no, the dude is just... there's just so many emotions going through that it's just not easy to follow, even if it was realistic. And I mean, it's just something about just Mob standing still and letting the dude just completely destroy his own skull that just makes it just kind of weird. For the most part, I could watch Mob Psycho because I do think it gets good. Same as Hunter x Hunter. Or Hunter x Hunter, I would say. Hunter x Hunter is what I think some people call it, but yeah, Hunter x Hunter, I think I'll just keep calling it. But yeah. Just the fact that Hunter x Hunter has just got kids, and then I'm just meant to believe that the kids are badass, which, I mean, I suppose there are some badass kids out there, but I don't know if Gold and Blondie feel like the most likely characters to be the case. And then again, they have just built up the plot really well, but I've just gone bored of it. Because if it was just... I feel like solo leveling fused with just One Punch Man would be amazing. Well, not One Punch Man. Hunter x Hunter. That'd be insane if all three of those got fused together. Though Saitama and just solo leveling would be kind of boring admittingly. You just almost having just the plot development from Hunter x Hunter just with solo leveling and having it be the best possible thing that it could have come up with. That would be sick. And instead of it being kids, make it be just adults who have tried new things, because I mean, it's just like the one guy who looks like an adult is like, no, I'm a kid too, can't you see it? And then it's just, no, no you can't. And it's just ridiculous. It's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go fishing, and then it's just how the dude gets stronger. That's just too weird of a plot for me. Not more weird, but it's not quite good enough. Maybe that's where I got the thing, Heavenly Tower, from. All I know is that there was a tower, and that's when Hunter x Hunter was actually pretty entertaining for a bit. Because they added a really cool fighting mechanic that just made everybody so much more powerful. But yeah. Though I actually played with my friend, it was actually quite hilarious because first he actually joined me in just the same tier 6 lobby, which Carson just couldn't get past the first jump. Actually, second jump, he got past the first jump quite a bit. It was just the trust flick that he just could not get, which, to be fair, he is new to obbying, and I don't think he's really played too many obbies. He hasn't even played Tower of Hell yet up until I showed it to him next, and Yeah, to say the least, you just got destroyed by that obby. I mean, same with me. I mean, it's taken me over 2 hours, but yeah, that guy, he's just not having a good day. So for the most part, I was just, well, sitting there just trying to teach him and doing the obby at the same time just when I felt like it. And it would have been funny because, well, Carson was saying stuff like, oh my goodness, he's gonna let me. When, well, I'm not that good, so that joke definitely fell flat because that just didn't happen. And then again, there were some other jokes that landed, because then I played Blue Lock, which, what happened there was, I joined a team, but then the menu of joining a team didn't go, so I could just switch teams whenever I wanted, and I could just go anywhere. I mean, I don't think I could really use any of the controls, but it was funny to see me just teleport everywhere. So that was definitely entertaining. And then got bored of Blue Lock, so I convinced Carson to go into Tower of Hell, which I just kept beating. I mean, there were times where I just couldn't beat the tower, but for the most part, I could very easily just beat the tower and, well, do stuff with that. Which, what I did was I made it fog, I put on inverted colors, I put an extra time, and add an extra stage. My favorite ones are extra time, adding an extra stage, and fog, which basically just means inverted colors are just there to annoy people, which is quite funny in itself. And I actually did spend Robux just to buy invisibility, and yeah, it was quite funny. It was generally worth buying that. Because you'll just partway through where I was just sitting there at the top just after some guy brought fog, and I brought an extra stage, and I was actually wanting to go because, well, Carson was wanting me to go into Untitled Boxing, which was a mistake. He should not have picked that game of all games. That was definitely his bad, and yeah, for the most part I could have just gone there straight away, but then I just wanted to see what would happen, and then as the time was ticking down, there were people who would just say, you know what, I give up. I can't do this with fog and invisibility and an extra stage. So then I just decided to buy extra time because I didn't buy that already. And they were just... the lobby was just cussing me out at that point. So many people just get angry from that. It's amazing, chat. So yeah, then next I played Untitled Boxing of Carson, and yeah, for the most part he definitely liked Untitled Boxing better than RFL because, well, he could actually see, because the reason why Carson left in the first place was because the fog was just unbearable, which that is very much fair enough. Even I've died to the fog many times just because, well, there was actually this one stage in the Tower of Hell where it was just a speed platform and a lava jump, which I thought, you know, this is going to be easy, and then it's like, oh wait, no, I'm dead, and then that's just what happened. And I was on the last stage too, so I just couldn't beat the tower afterwards because, like, 5 other people got there, and then it just went from 2 times to 4 times to 8 times to 16 times, and it was just miserable. Which, you know, that makes me wonder if I can just have 4 accounts that just are in the same body. I'd generally be sick if I could. There's almost like that one thing in Among Us where it's just 2 people stacked on top of each other, but then you don't actually know that's the case, so then you just kill one of them, and then there's another guy. So that's nice. So yeah, when we were actually playing on title boxing, he just did not know my power until, well, I accidentally walked into a match and then I fought this other dude instead, and Carson was just bewildered. He was like, wait, you've played this game before? I'm like, no. And then he just calls out my 500 knockouts in tab. I was radio silent after that, and yeah, also still haven't turned champion, which is pretty sick. I mean, it would be nice if I could get more, but I don't know, chat. Untitled boxing is just competitive, and I almost just want to keep and turn champion just because, well, that feels good. Especially when I see so many people with silver and gold. That just really doesn't make sense for me to keep going if there's just no real likelihood of me going up, which I mean, I could just do it for the little chance, but even at my peak in Untitled Boxing, I just couldn't really get up there because, well, I don't think I was that determined to get up there, which... I mean, I feel like if I went back in time, I would get it now, but... it's too bad that I ain't a time traveler, or else the people of Untitled Boxing would be in fear. And yeah, me and Carson played for a bit. I played with Hulk, my favorite style, and yeah, thrashed him with it. There was this other style called, I think, Freedom, where you could just switch styles during the match, but I couldn't really tell the styles apart. It would be sick if you could just roll styles in Freedom and then you can get different ones, but oh well. Can't really do that, so I just dealt with Freedom being just inherently worse. So yes, straight up it was just me using Freedom. It being a close match, me using Hawk, not being a close match, and I don't think he got one win against me. So then, well, Carson picked the next game, and it's a game called Rivals, and he has played Minecraft, he has played game modes, but he hasn't really played anything competitive in a while, whereas I was playing a lot of, well, Netherite Pot back then, and to say the least, it's definitely helped me when it comes to just locking onto targets and shooting them, so I definitely do think shooter games I'm just decent at least, which is definitely a shocker because I got shot twice by Carson twice in a row, and then I just realized, wait a minute, if you use the zoom feature, that's a disadvantage, to which Carson just didn't really believe me until I annihilated him 4 times in a row with that. I mean, the other round he was just AFK, so then the timer was just counting down, and I just won. So, yeah. I decided not to kill him then. So, definitely felt good for me to just, well, basically queen sweeping. Which, I mean, it does definitely feel good because I haven't really played a Friends in a while. Although, there is a good reason why I haven't really played Friends in a while. They get thrashed. Because I'm just online. They can't even get to where I'm at in Devoid. At least in their first attempt, I know it'll take them multiple. Because it took me multiple. And then they're going to have to catch up to me when I get to prison, because I'm going to get there too. So it definitely is just a reality that that's just happening. It does definitely feel good to just have friends like Trilad, Delza, Waste, Edis, who are just all chronically online and play video games a lot, so... yeah, we definitely do have our strengths, and I feel like in an FPS shooter, I'd probably be pretty good at that. I think Yudis definitely has a chance. Wait, no, it wasn't Yudis, it was the other guy. I mean, everybody has a chance. I just feel I'm going to win. Although I haven't actually seen any of them in the shooter game yet, so... I mean, to say the least... Well, in the FPS games, I mean. But yeah, chat. Would you guys expect me to be good at a shooting game? Is that the first thing that you would think I'd be good at with the games that I would have been playing in the past? So then, if that's the same with anybody else, then, well... my smug face is going to get turned upside down. Because, well, that's just not a reality that I can really do. I really do wonder if in university I could just make my YouTuber model there. It could definitely be a nice thing to be able to do. And then again, I don't even know if I want to make my own one. But it's still a work in progress, chat. I'll likely pay attention to it more very much in the future, so you guys, yeah, definitely shouldn't expect it anytime soon. As well as just a reality. I mean, when it does come around, then it'll be sick, but for now it's just not something that'll happen. I mean, even though I have failed at a tier 6 today, I also beat another one, which, funny enough, was actually by the same creator, which it actually took me far less time to actually beat. I think it took me only an hour, where the other one just took, well, 2 hours and counting. So yeah, it definitely is quite interesting. Something else that I find fascinating is with Breaking Bad, there's actually a lot that's been happening there, just because I've watched it a bit. Which, something that I generally did think was just Jesse would be generic. Oh my goodness, Walter, you did it, which he wouldn't really be wrong there, but they actually went into the approach of it's my fault instead. Which is fair enough, I mean, they were both there, they both wanted to get drunk. And I mean, Jane was the one who got Jesse into drugs in the first place, so... I mean... I don't really know. I think it would be valid if it was just Jane being all sad for killing Jesse, but... I still think it was just Jane being irresponsible to the point where she just, well, died herself. So I'm not really sure. Which is actually looking in Jesse's perspective because, well, Walter did technically kill Jane because, well, she rolled onto the back from Jesse, and I mean, I think Walter just let it happen because, well, Walter just feels like, okay, this girl is a very bad influence on you. Because that is the reality. Jane was getting Jesse to put just a whole bunch of extra stuff in him. Walter telling him for a while to just not. It's just stupid. So yeah, it is nice that Walter was looking out for him, but Yeah, letting his girlfriend die, as much as it was a not so bad decision for Walter in the strategic run, it's not as though really just bad move to really pull at the same time. I'm still not really sure what I would really say about that, other from dag nabbit, Walter, because, well, yeah, Walter's just being weird. I mean, to be fair, people aren't perfect, and Walter is definitely not perfect. There are multiple occasions where I just feel that he's not a perfect person, just generally. I mean, it does make him the perfect character just with him having mistakes, and how he just spouted out that he had a second phone to Skylar, which was a good way to go. Because in there was just Walter being all like, no, I don't have anything. I don't have anything at all. Why would I have something that I need to hide? That's just dumb. To which that's just what he was doing for ages, and yeah, Skylar finally caught up to him and finally found out that he was a drug dealer. Which was actually quite interesting, because Skylar was actually thinking that Walter was cheating on him, or something. He was just like, do you have a second phone? No. Wait, he has a second phone. And it's just her digging into stuff, and it's like, wait a minute. He says he's not cheating, which, with how he goes, he's trying to save us both. And with how he just doesn't want us to do any sort of donations, he's not gonna go after somebody just to get donations. He could have used Elliot and other person for that. I forgot what her name was. Which, I mean, it just feels real because, well, Skylar just really does some digging after she left Walter, and that's an honest to goodness reality that she would have thought before. Well, that might be the case because, well, Walter put it in her head, but then there's just no real reason for him to have an affair. There's just not really a reason, and it's just weird when somebody's having lung cancer and they don't really want to visit, so then they would have to be quite a loyal person too, and Walter just doesn't really have anybody who he would so-called cheat on, so it was also very smart of him to almost put into the head that he could be cheating, and it's just like his first idea, and not a drug dealer, because, well, chat, who would believe that Walter would become a drug dealer just off the rip? I mean, not including the covers and all that, because, well, it definitely just tells you Walter's a drug dealer, but for the most part, it's not really written on his face that that's what he does for a living. He's into chemistry, he's into teaching, he does a lot of stuff around that. So, I mean, Walter's just a honest worker. Which is why it just really goes to show why he's actually doing in the first place, because, well, he's worried that his family is going to spend all the money on him and then they're not really going to have anything. So, yeah, if Walter's going to die anyways, then, well, he may as well get a whole bunch of money first. And with how the story's just been building it up, it just makes sense, just everything he would have done. How he would be going out to just random places, why he would have a second cell phone, because he's not really sleeping with anybody, he would have been caught by now. Cheaters are stupid, so, yeah. That's just something, well, cheaters aren't really stupid, they're just usually selfish. But then, yeah, Walter isn't really selfish either. He's always the type of person to just put his family first before himself. I think he was even quite angry when he just realized, wait, I'm alive? No, yeah. I think he was generally ready to go because of all the stuff he would have done. Which also goes into his character quite a bit, how he just acts, with how he just wants to drink a lot when he realizes that he's actually alive. It's really suspicious how he goes. And yeah, with Hank and Marie, just Hank being like, oh yeah, I've seen it before. Oh, it's a cheater. Marie just stopping him there because, well, Hank is a nice guy, but I don't exactly know if he's quite the brightest when it comes to stuff like this. Unless he just doesn't really believe it himself and that's why he's saying it a lot. I think that is actually a more better representation of what he is like. So I'm not really sure. So yeah, Marie's just like, you know, if Walt cheated on her, then, well, Skylar would have told me. So it's definitely something else, but yeah, it's almost like what else could it really be? So it's almost just maybe even Hank not really wanting to bust Walt in the first place, which it also just adds character depth in it just not being that you look at the character and see everything about them. Because, I mean, they don't really tell you how to feel about the characters at all. Other from they're human. And just one of them has experience in a job so they can go out and do something that earns them a lot of money because, well, at this rate, I can see why Walter would go into that. If it was difficult to live, I would be going to meth at this point because, well, it's just such a profitable way to live. I mean, maybe not really, but to say the least, Chad, it is definitely a tempting offer. Especially if something pricey comes up, like, if there's something that make me end up on the streets, which I might actually take. It just really does feel like that, well, something like that, if I'm just that good at chemistry to the point where that's the greatest stuff of all time, just makes it so much better to just use chemistry for something profitable, because the dude has also been going through something where it's just, he feels like he hasn't really used his life properly as well. So then seeing a chance to actually make some dough, it just really goes to show how a good person can end up in something bad, which I feel is a lot more on why just Hazbin Hotel just really flopped, because I didn't have enough of those characters. I mean, they had the Radio Demon, who I'd say from looking at him is a pretty good villain, but just with some of the other cast just feeling like they haven't really prepared with it, just really breaks the entire spirit in my eyes, just with how genuinely bad the plot seems. Because, chat, I'm no rocket scientist, but something that I've watched from the same creator, Aliva Boss, that not only had much slower of a start, but just less of a good opening. I don't know, it's just insane to me that something like Aliva Boss can get that high, and how Hazbin Hotel just is below that. Just with all the generic stuff you could possibly bring, like Stolas and Demon Boy just being friends since kindergarten. It's like, why? Why should that be a reality? Just over something like, I don't know, actually giving them a connection. And then you got just the Seven Deadly Sins just not representing what they represent at all, and it's just, I don't know, it just feels like it's just characters from, well, a fiction, and fiction within a fiction, which just makes it feel unrealistic. is when I watch something that establishes, oh, it's going to be dealing with characters and their problems. I want to see something that really dives down into the psychological behavior of everybody, not a gag every 5 seconds. It's just not fun. Which is my reasoning why I just don't really believe that Espinota can get a rating that low. Unless so many people, almost a lot of people just went there because, well, it's on a different site other from YouTube, and they just completely sold their thing to another guy as soon as they realized that they had some sort of potential when it came to it. Which, I mean, still fair enough, but it's just so defeating just seeing something like that go from stardom to undercooked. Which, I mean, I might just go back and see it, but it just really does feel like just the Amazing Digital Circus versus Hesbin Hotel just shouldn't even be close either, because what I've seen, just Hollywood Boss also has more than Amazing Digital Circus as well, so there might be a chance that Hollywood Boss could be good, but I don't know. I just really don't know. But yeah, if you just breed crazy of crazy, it's just crazy. I like it when it's crazy mixed with normality. Just an example of that being Captain America. Captain America is normal. He's probably the most boring person in the world. But then because of his world changing so much and how they just dive deep into why that's such a terrible thing to happen to him, because, well, Captain America's always used to being this hero. He was used to being invincible. He was used to, well, being the man who saved the day. He was used to listening to the government because they're always honest. But now with everything changing, with how everything's set up, just there's no true black and white to any story, and Captain America just can't really go ahead and step over everything, and he's overpowered. He's put into a situation where he does good for so many people, and then yeah, he just finally gets his true ending, and I like that. I mean, with Marvel, they have a lot of ups and downs. Deadpool and Wolverine, immediate up. And just something that's, well, genuinely not that good, just Doctor Strange as a character, because, well, it's just strange with how he acts, just with how his portals can cut arms, but not Thanos' arms. Because, I mean, it's just under development, and just how far the heroes are going. It's just like, you know, there's only like one way we can actually win this, and it's just use 100 sling rings to cut off every one of the villains' body parts. Watch them bleed. Because that's just a more realistic way on how to do things. So yeah, it definitely does just go ahead and be like, well, there you go again. And yeah, I do actually agree with that guy who was complaining about Doctor Strange, because I mean, I did used to really like him. I do have to admit that much, Chad. I mean, it's entertaining enough, but that's just a good reason why I can't really rewatch just Avengers. Also wondering why just Thor's hammer isn't really used all too well, because, well, Thor's hammer is just infinitely heavy. If you put it on somebody, they can't move their body at all whatsoever. They can't get up because of how heavy the damn hammer is. So making it so just Thanos gets hit by the hammer, just gets to a point where he can't really move, to then use the reality stone to just make everything as light as he wants and have that be the way he uses Thor's hammer to just... Maybe just infuse it with the power stone or something to just explode it. That would be a good way to just, well, do something with the weapons that he has, because, well, they just don't really do much of the weapons that Thanos has. He's just, well, there. I mean, Infinity War was still good, but yeah, definitely not as good as I would expect things to be now, which, I mean, there's a good reason why there's not too many things. Definitely, I'm glad that I found just Breaking Bad because of how good that show is. But yeah, Breaking Bad, just more stuff happened, and Skylar just exploring a lot about why Walter was acting like this way and how it just went from Skylar being hopeful for Walter to survive to just never really wanting to be around him, and there was also just a lot of inner conflict with that a bit. I thought just Walter Jr. just wanted to go back to Walter, and I'm still just gonna call him Flynn because why not? But yeah, he generally does moves with Walter just because, well, he wants just Skylar and Walter to marry again. But he at least needs to know why first, just to actually see. Which, I'm actually wondering what Walter's actually going to say, because, well, Walter's a drug dealer, Walter is a criminal, he is doing this for money, and Walter Jr. just realizes, wait, I've raised all that money for nothing? I had a whole ass camera crew to film me for no apparent reason, and that was all something, then that's just also gonna create a conflict with him. It's almost seeing if, well, Walter is going to dance around it, how he dances around it, just seeing how he solves that problem, because, well, yeah. Walter is a regular guy, but he is also smart, which there are also times where he's just very bad at stuff like that speech in the hall, because there was a speech in a hall in front of his entire school where just the principal gave him the mic and he was just saying, "Don't worry, chat. The plane crash ain't so bad. Like, it's nice that not too many people are hurt. Like, 167. Nah, that's not so bad. There was actually this plane crash down in Oklahoma where there was like 537 deaths because it's like, there's like two bigger planes, right? They just collided into each other like smoosh, and then just everybody was just looking at water like, who let him talk? And then the principal just was like, alright, give me the mic. You've said your piece. Go on, give it now. And then that was just what was happening. And it was funny. It was, well, not really funny. It was cringe, more or less, actually. I mean, yeah, just it's really nice how just Walter is just a regular human being. There are things that he's done that just he can't really live with, and that's his weakness, his morality, and that's what drives him to be such a good creation. Because if he just didn't have any morality, then he would also not be as, well, good at keeping himself secret, which, yeah, just makes him that much better of a character just without just good of a person he is. Well, other from the whole meth thing, and actually he's not even that good of a person, he's just somewhat decent, I would say. Because he did watch as a girl choked to death. Well, a 27-year-old choked to death. He also did watch as, well, other things were happening. I mean, he has definitely gotten Jesse to forgive him, but yeah, it's almost wondering, wonder if that secret will spill that Walter was the one who killed Jane. Because then at that point, Jesse's like, well, I think Jane would have died anyways, but still. I feel like that would be the point where he would just go and do something he probably shouldn't. It was also interesting how Goodman also came to. He's like, look, I get what happened and all, your wife is filing for divorce and this is all happening, but still, look, compadre, it's okay, it's all good. I was like, don't go ahead and, well, hang yourself in the closet or something. Because that's just a bad thing to do, which really encapsulates just Goodman just not really being good at talking with people. He just is good at proving people wrong and bringing people down. It just really goes to show with how he just kept making fun of that guy for just being short. Well, not short. Looking like a drug addict. Which was just savage. It was like, oh yeah, you're letting just street punks into the office now? And it's just like, bruh. And also, are you looking at this guy right now? This is my guy, right? Let me get him to confess. And then he's just so obnoxious, everybody leaves. Oh yeah, and also, finally, there's an explanation on why that old guy at Emilio's place was just wanting to let Walter and Jesse out scot-free. He wants to kill them. And there was actually these dudes and this other scene that were just put out for a while, just there. Which was quite weird at first, how they were just all these guys crawling, even those dudes. They just came out of this car and started crawling themselves. Then they went to the shrine and they just robbed this person's house and they gave them the key to this expensive car, which is quite interesting. Then they were just burning down just migrant trucks for no reason. I have no idea why. So that's just generally entertaining. Something else that I also quite like is just how it led up to that moment. Because there's also another moment in there where it's just, well, Walter just on the ground crying and he's crawling. Which probably has something to do with those guys, actually. Which definitely goes to show a character that you've known for a while that, well, it just, it's almost like he was just there for Walt because, well, he wanted to drive plot down, but instead he just wants Walt dead because, well, he killed his nephew, and nephews are pretty close, so... And it's definitely, quite a nasty thing to do to somebody, even though the dude actually deserved it, because, I mean, the man beat a guy to death who was just trying to back him up on his word with his bare hands. So yeah, I can definitely see why. And just the fact that you can actually see both sides of the story constantly too. I really like that bit about just Breaking Bad because they have depth to both the good guys and the bad guys, like how you got just Crazy 8 being a not crazy guy, and then Waltz was just not really crazy, but instead crazy smart. Bam! Smoke bomb. Crazy 8's dead. Emilio is just this unhinged guy, whereas Waltz was probably the most hinged. a drug dealer out there. So then that was quite a cool fight because of that. And then you just got, well, Walter wanting to make up with his wife. But then you got a guy who's trying to get revenge against him. A really good story as well, because it's like, well, trying to make up to it and revenge, just two different things that coincide. And yeah, Walter's just kept to his character. He is very good as one. He does stuff that you don't really expect, but then, well, the dude still feels human because of that. Because there was actually this one scene where he was just driving with a broken windshield, and there were just multiple times before he was just also driving with that broken windshield, and it was just almost me wondering if that was legal, which it finally appears that a cop has pulled him over and it's not legal. So yeah, that's also a nice step, and well, I just quite like it. I don't really have much to talk about today, chat, because, well, still quite tired, and I think it's just because of me transitioning into hobbying and my body just not quite being happy. I'm trying to eat healthier to try and solve that issue, but and again, I don't know if that's really working. I think if anything, that's stressing me out more, which maybe once I get settled into just a lifestyle, then I'll just be happy, and then once I move to university, it won't be that big of an uproar for me. Because, well, university is definitely going to be interesting because, well, yeah, it's either going to be a living hell for me or probably the best experience of my life. Period. Which I feel I can be prepared enough to actually go into university and learn psychology at this rate. 10 hours a week, simple. I'm spending 12 hours playing hobbying. Oh, playing hobbying. So I can see how that's going to be a reality. Oh. Bruh. Really does do me good to just wait. I mean, it is the fact that I'm still playing video games just as competitively as possible, but I don't know. I just don't know how long I actually want to do this for. I mean, to be fair, I still will do it. I know there'll always be some part of me just in there that wants me to complete, just present at the very least. Well, I do want to complete the full of Devoid. Get myself a nil. That's pretty cool. Something so tricky it isn't even classed as a tier. Which is why I also just want to go out to catastrophic just as quick as possible. That would feel pretty good as well. Because, well, I also just want to go out there. So I suppose I'm just going for just trickier and trickier things until I get there. Which I do want to get to thinning layers, but it's just not really something I'm inclined to do yet. So I'd say my recommendation for myself would be to just play TOTS more. Get it down, but I'm also just bored of TOTS, so I need to stream it, but then I don't feel like streaming a lot of times, so yeah. I definitely is quite defeatist personality at this point. Yeah, today is Friday, yeah. Actually, maybe I might get Terraria. Actually, I think I will get Terraria. Yeah, so I will likely be streaming for quite a bit soon. I'm not really sure what Trilad wants to do yet. I think if I get called up in the morning, then, well, I will be playing Terraria, but then if I'm just not, then, well, I suppose I won't be playing Terraria. And instead actually, well, attempting cards again because, I mean, Chad, I've gone to floor 9 twice now. I feel it'll be quite an easy tower to just get out of the way and done with. At least easier tower. Which, yeah, if my plan, it'll be certainly more complicated next because, well, thinning layers is quite tricky. But it's definitely obvious from how Trilad was acting with that. He was doing it for 8 hours a day and still couldn't beat it until much, much later. The dude was really sad over it. I think I would have just joined him when the thing first started, and then I just came at the very last episode and just was like, "No, Trilad, you got this," and he bit at the very next stream, which felt pretty good. I mean, I bet it was very much due for that eventually. It was really only a matter of when rather than if at that point. So that's nice. But yeah. I really do feel like sleeping. Really does feel like my eyelids are just, well, difficult to close at the moment. So it really does just feel like it's just gonna be a second later and I'll just be in my bed sleeping. Which, I mean, seriously, certainly just not that good of a thing, but, eh, oh well. I think I will just get more vegetables in me, because, well, I just don't really have too many. I mean, then again, I do have fruit salad, and that's like 1.6 serves, and then I have like a lot of serves of vegetables after that, so maybe that might be enough for a day, but yeah, for the most part, I do definitely need more nutrition. Because carbs, I'm not gonna worry about carbs, Chad. I'm pretty good when it comes to carbs. I can eat chips, I can eat bread. There's so many damn carbs in the house that it's just ridiculous to even count them. I feel that that's part of my meal, and it'll always be just easy to eat carbs. The difficult bit is vegetables, because, well, I've actually finally got my eggs down, because, well, I was looking at on Google and I was just like, how many eggs would I have to eat a day in order to get all the vitamin B12 I'd need for the day? And it's just, you need to eat 4 eggs in order to get that total. 2 is fine, but 4 is best, and it's just like, I'm gonna eat eggs for breakfast and dinner now. It isn't exactly a bad thing, it's just like a pill, except I'm allowed to chew it. Which, I mean, they're not chewable pills, but this pill, when you chew it, tastes good. So I can just keep having just, well, eggs. And it tastes good. I've always liked eggs. I've never really disliked them. So I just keep putting eggs on just some hidden emails and calling it a day. I think that's just what I'm going to do. Because I don't think hidden meals are just inherently bad. Which they do make you quite lazy, but if I'm going out to the supermarket to get them, then that's not that lazy. And I could stock up on 1,000,000 of them at that point. Just going through, just picking what I want, because, well, chat, frozen things don't really go off that often. I can just have stuff in there and pick it out later. And eggs, I can also just have a whole bunch of those, and that could be my entire collection of things. It really does remind me just about the thick mints and just Peak for some reason. Which I haven't actually watched anybody playing Peak in a while. It's sad that the hype for that game has already gone down. Which now that I'm thinking about it, I need to actually watch a Peak stream in order to get a emote. Which, I mean, the emote is kind of mediocre, but it's not just a nice badge of honor to have. I like that. I think I will just get it because of that. But yeah. I still just am laughing about just a whole bunch of people scamming Dream. Like, I mean, the dude kind of does deserve it for teaming up with somebody like the Quavius of all people. It's just like, oh yeah, Dream? Who cares about that guy? I'm out of here. Not Dream, I mean Technoblade. Oh, Technoblade. I remember Technoblade. I like Technoblade, but then again, I like this guy because he's also just as popular as Technoblade, and it just feels like that. This really is interesting how just Dream switched up that quickly. Just somebody who is just respecting Technoblade, and I don't know. Let's have a distaste for Dequavius. Follower bot denied. Oh, advertisement bot denied. By Crosaint 69. Certainly an interesting name to call a bot. I'm a croissant. I like croissants and I am a saint. And also 6, that's pretty good too. But yeah. It really is interesting how just everybody has their time when they want to move on. I really hope I avoid that point as long as humanly possible. Because of my plans, they're likely not going to work. I mean, if they do, then that would be fantastic, but yeah, I just don't really think they'll work all too well. Especially if my index finger's just sore at the moment. My left index finger just decides to die on me. Oh wait, that's not what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to go this side. No. Hmm. There you go. Definitely is nice to get here in 11 minutes, so I definitely appreciate it, but yeah. May as well sing a song that I haven't really sung in a while. I don't know what you want. Let's have a little fun for our downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, really wanna go to the outside. My love. You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna cry, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. Dun, 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 dun. You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna cry, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. I don't know what you want. Let's have a little fun for our downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, not really wanna go to the other side. My love, if you feel like I do right now, turn and run to the other side. My love, you say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna cry, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, it really does just feel like that's a reality. Probably the reason why I sing it every time I feel like I'm drowning in not exactly loss. Never really had the completion of Devoid to begin with. I never really felt... I don't even know what I was about to say. I think I'm just trying to find some way to beat myself down without beating myself down too much. It really does just cement as a reality of just how bad I'm just doing. At least according to myself. It does feel good how there's generally people out there who do feel that this is, well, not a waste of time for how far I've come. Because, I mean, I don't even think it is at the moment. I just believe that I'm growing tired of this reality. And then there truly is no other reality that I'd rather be in. I mean, sure, I could just go out and buy new games all the time, but I like to be unique. And I mean, I suppose that's why people do that, but then that's just the most simple form of being unique around when it comes to just going with the trend, and even then that's still just kind of following a crowd of other people, and I do believe I'm gonna go down that route someday. It's really unlikely to just not go down that route. All I can say is if I do actually get popular, I want to act like I don't have the money. And that I'm still just some teenage dirtbag. Well, then again, I'm not quite sure what I want to do either. For now, though, I just want to be old. Actually, it's just something I spelled out. I mean, it does help if I'm older, but yeah, I think the only thing it really does is conceal my age better. It's pretty obvious when you hear a dude who's 18 plus just, well, who sounds like a 16-year-old to really find out how old I would probably be. At the very least, quite an easy place to look, just 18, 19, 20, maybe a little bit older, but at that point it would just be quite difficult to believe. I mean, it does still feel good to just have people say how good I'm doing, because I suppose going into something 4 hours straight is difficult, but yeah. Anything's difficult, quite frankly. Everything, I should say. There's so many difficult things people do that's just really difficult to stand out. I think that's also something else that I've just always wanted. To very much stand out as this interesting character. Because at this point, episode 1000 is just going to feel like today. The only difference being I'm probably in a different area, and I think at that point, if I'm just not at prison, it would generally be my time to just quit hobbying, because, well, that's just a little bit too late for even me. I mean, I know I overestimate myself too much, like, originally thinking that this would take 200 times 2, 400 hours in total. Big whoop. And just like 200 episodes. I just don't think that's a reality anymore. It might not even be a reality to get up to prison in 200 episodes. I mean, I am still getting better, and one day I'll get up there. Especially when I've got summer holidays soon where I can just do that constantly, but with already having holidays and if anything becoming more lazy, it's just not exactly something that I'm really that proud to say. Like, look at me, I am breathing and fine for the next stream that everybody wants to see in a few weeks, or at the very least that are inclined to really check it out, because, well, I just don't stream when anybody else does unless it's just a blank moment where I just sit here and talk to myself all the time, and then that's just it. Which, I mean, I suppose I could do earlier, but I feel even just changing up the schedule would just make it worse. Would just make me just that much more oblivious, that much more inclined to just end stream here, move on. Because it's tempting. But with how I know that you can't really have the ups without downs, because, well, you have to do some sort of contribution in life in order for other people to be happy, and if nobody contributed, then we would all just starve. Which is a way to look at it, and I don't know. I mean, it certainly does take one to do 100 episodes of 2 hours. 1,000, I mean. I feel maybe then I might just get some sort of recognition. Although, would be at that point 3 years later, so definitely fair enough. Well, doing a bit to say the least. I really do wonder how much determination I would have. Seeing how much I prove myself until I finally burn out. Until that little match lit candle would lose all of its wick. And how often I would actually take the time to acknowledge that. Because the only time to really acknowledge burnout is when you're actually gone, when you're actually out of it, when you're not really to keep going anymore. Which, I mean, it's never going to happen for me. At least, that's what I keep telling myself every time I play Devoid, that this is all going to be worth it someday, and that I'm not wasting my time, because, I mean, well, if I tell myself that many times, it will actually become a reality, because, well, I'll be at the end of Devoid. Although it really is just only one time where I'd have to say I don't want to play tonight, and then that's just going to be over. That's just going to be it. Which I really do feel like just going. I mean, I wouldn't say streams are more tricky than ever. I mean, that would be a lie. I mean, I think it might be slightly, just a little bit more tricky, just because of how, well, holidays, just an ETOL stream yesterday, and I failed something that I felt I should have probably beaten, but it just really does feel like if I feel like I could beat every tier 6 possible, then, well, there'd at least be one that would catch me off guard, which that is kind of why I play tier 6s, to get that one that catches me off guard, so then after I complete that, I'm just ready to move up to tier 7s, and then those will be my kryptonite instead. Because, Chad, I want me a good tier 7. I want to go in and feel that I'm ready for a tier 7 obbies, because, well, so far I'm just beating tier 6s. Just daily now. Which, again, it's still good, but I don't know. I just want to be good already. I just want to just beat tier 6s to the point where each one just takes less time, but then when you go deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole, there are just more and more just weird obbies that have been ranked, but are just so weird that they're difficult. Just to the point where you almost beat the easiest tier 6 right away, and then you go down and down because that's the first tier 6 that Roblox recommends you. The Gold Horizons, that one was quite a fun one because it had jumps that looked tricky, but something like that, well, Born Obby that just had just stuff that looks so easy, yet that took me quite a while to beat. I think about 50 minutes in total. So it really goes to show that I've only really scratched the surface of Obbying, and, well, if I really do want to beat something like Infinity, pretty impossible at the moment. I haven't beat the first bit of Devoid that's actually challenging. I've been there, but yeah. I need to get to somewhere like here. Just getting through all those, and... Alright, why am I even wondering where the entrance to prison is? It's this way. I can still look at it from here, I think. Very blurry there. Really does go to show why the views get better each time you do things. Instead of using the chair, I used the one stud, which I think that would have actually been the original way to get up. But then they just were like, yo dude, add a chair here, and then they just did. W owner and W person who recommended that chair. If it's both the owner, then... well, it's W, quadruple U. Quadruple U to you. One more time, take my hand. No. Because it's not my cup of tea. And I'm not inclined. As you see, it must be. See? You can be good. Because one day, someday can be in the ground. Because someday could be growing days where the sun don't shine. That was the lyrics. All I gotta do is come up with my own. Go on, feeling like a warrior. Strive first, ask questions later. 'Cause in a life of hurt, where happiness is deserted, everything must go on. Accidents happen, everybody has things to look after. But life can go on without purpose. Coming back from the dark, turning that night light on. Looking to the light where none shines from. I'm feeling it deep inside, I can't breathe in right. It just goes to show what life causes. Sometimes it's just too late. Waking up the next morning, sitting at the doorstep, breathing in. Just thought of could be a day where you can wake up, see the world from what it all has been. A tournament of fates. I know it's difficult to feel inclined to do anything, but it's just sometimes when you gotta take a bite. I feel inseparable to myself and I, but it really is the way how I just go in time. Picking up the pieces of my life, detriment to my very eyes. I feel so unnatural. It's a pocket full of hurt. I want to feel grateful, but I just haven't done anything that I can choose to say it's all okay. It really is just saying facts at this point that I feel are true. Really opinions at that point, because facts are actually true. I just feel they're true. Facts to me, jabba jabba to everybody else. Saying that I quite like is facts don't care about your feelings, and it really does go to show why white lies exist. It really is quite irresponsible how everybody behaves. Cause there's just one saying that I believe is true. Facts don't care about your feelings tonight, because they don't ever feel right to take it. There's a good reason why white lies exist. There's a good reason why I need a lot of what I was saying, and now I know I am starting to feel nauseous. Already dehydrated from these streams. I'm going to need to make sure that I at least keep up my liquids a little bit. Just to the point where I'm conscious, but not to the point where I'm rushing to the bathroom every time partway through stream, which, I mean, I am growing as a streamer, I can definitely tell that much. Before I was pissing myself, and maybe some of you guys off by how many times I had to take a break every time, just in 2 hour periods. Play a few dolls. We'll be a perfect family. Picture, picture, smile for the picture. Close with your brother, won't you be a good sister? Everyone thinks that we're perfect. Please don't let them look through the curtains. Places, places, get in your places. I forgot the lyrics. Mixed up two things and I don't really know. Please don't let them look through the curtains. Dollhuc. I've seen things that nobody else seen. Dollhuc. I've seen things that nobody else sees. And girl, through the walls, play with your dolls. We'll be a perfect family. Picture, picture, smile for the picture. Was a brother, would you be a good sister? Actually, no, that's still wrong. If I'm gonna be bad at singing, I gotta at least get the lyrics right for that. Dang nabbit. I do definitely like the Amazing Digital Circus so far more than Breaking Bad. That's because it does hit very close to me, which, I mean, I feel like it does hit close to a lot of people who just feel the same way. Trapped in a world where you can't even die because, well, dying is selfish. To you, and especially to everybody else. Which I think it really is especially yourself now that I'm thinking about it. To everyone, including yourself. Which, yeah. I've never really been the one to want to go. Actually, it's a lie as well. We've all got those moments, chat. Everyone feels that way at least once in a while. Whether that be due to some sort of traumatic experience, addiction problems, or both combined. Or even just due to lack of purpose, like a lot of people feel. A lot of us just have to get used to that. I'll likely be one of them. I mean, I am trying to get out of that cycle, but definitely not so as if I was streaming 4 hours a day, that's when I would really be trying. That's when I'd be really out of that scenario of just pathetic feelings. Those pathetic feelings, I should say. Oh. You know, I didn't think I'd be alive, so I'm going to continue this one run while I have. Got it, I suppose. Would actually be interesting if I had just as many falls as there are people currently alive. Certainly two things that aren't related, but with Infinity I'm gonna have a lot of fails, so maybe eventually I'll have like 7 billion of them. As right now, I think I'd only be in the tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands if I'm lucky. Or unlucky. And that includes practice fails too, so that'll at least be quite a few per day. There would actually be a lot of them. Though the person with a billion fails is likely the best at a video game. I mean, as long as it's not an AFK simulator, then you're gonna get some sort of skill out of it. I know, netherite part, I'm just accurate when it comes to stuff now. Definitely is better than not being accurate, that's for sure. Yeah, that's how I act. I think I am just just going into everything I'm bad at and becoming good at it, and then that's it. Covering my weaknesses, as they say. Stuttering. Well, just streaming. Poor accuracy. Continuous gaming. Bad at being social, streaming again. Because at this point, Chad, I'm forced to be the most social person that I can ever be. If I'm just here, I may as well make it profitable for myself, mentally, or genuine money. Because, I mean, it would be stupid if somebody just generally goes onto Twitch just for money. It would be idiocy. I mean, there are always people who just either want a game or not want a game, but I mean, yeah. Everyone's just got a mixture of wanting it for the money and not wanting it for the money. Which, yeah, is an interesting reality. I mean, a reality that is true. Because, well, unless you just really want to become popular because, I mean, I suppose actuals aren't most like that. But then he's also selling things, so he's trying to make it profitable. Which, I mean, I don't really think I can blame him or anyone else. As well, that's just the fact of life in my eyes. If you have a hobby, you may as well make it profitable, so then you can do that hobby forever. And I suppose just getting continuously better at something is just something that I really want to do. Just always moving the goalpost for myself just to kick a ball further and further away each time until I'm able to kick it so far that it's just the peak of all humanity. I suppose that's why I'm just going with my wonky tree type of gameplay, just completing every single easy that I can possibly find, normal, hard to unlock areas, then going for a few in challenging, a few intense, remorseless, and going from one to the next every single time until I get to catastrophic, and then I just complete all 5 of those, and then that's just going to be the idiocy tree. And then I complete the extremes down. I complete the insanes down. I complete the complete the remorselesses after that. The intenses, the everything else, and that doesn't make some sort of shower of just completions at that point, which it will feel satisfying, but I am rolling, it's unlikely going to, well, it's not very likely, or at least not until I get very far, which would have to be a year by, well, from now to just get there, because, well, so far I've spent months here and I pretty much just bet an intense, and I'm still intense level. I want to get higher. So I'm gonna go for remorseless next after that. More and more and more and more until I am strong enough to feel the need to call it quits. just strong enough to just beat the majority of random people that I meet in video games, because, well, that's pretty much all I've ever wanted to do. It feels good. It's a nice reality, and that reality isn't exactly a bad reality. I do wonder how I'll be one day. I said that already. What occupation would I actually get? Would I really take the psychology thing where I just get put into placements and then I miss streams because of that? Which, I mean, it's not such a bad idea if I just go into psychology, come back. Holiday streamer. Irrelevant. Unless I'm really that entertaining if I go into that occupation. I definitely know that the next year of my life is going to be quite entertaining. Really do wonder what's going to happen. How often I'll actually interact with people, because it'll either be just not really at all, or constantly. So that's just what I feel happening. It really is. Make me wonder if I'll even get a job. Maybe something overnight, but then I don't really want anything overnight. There really is nothing much that I can really do, huh? Because even if I put myself at the lowest point in priority, just my bodily health, it's still just tricky to get a PC running. I do wonder if I'll be happy eating instant ramen. And it definitely does sound like a nice reality. But I was saying how much of it actually is entertaining as well. Eh. See, I think in the future it'll just be my life will revolve around my job in university. First university, then my job, then streaming at that point. I was just here hoping that it's not too late. And that'll be my sleep schedule. So if I could just, if I could just work for 2 hours a day, get like $46 per day, and just have that be constant. That's not bad at all. I'll definitely take that. Not as black and white though as that. So I don't really think there'll be much that I can really do with that information if that is so cool to be true. So I think the minimum wage in New Zealand is like 23 bucks, which could always go into welding, but I don't really want to do that, so that's a big rip. It's too bad that it's that flexible. Everything that I don't want to be is suddenly a possibility. Pretty much the only place where I know I can get in. I have experience, I've had training, I've had a lot of stuff to do with that. So yeah. Definitely could get into that. Certainly don't want to though. Life really is tricky, and I have to somehow find the equation to fix it. Which it is about as complicated as life is, just with how many things could happen. No matter if I'm one of the most entertaining people out there, I would still have a chance to be under. Although for the most part, I feel that's a very unlikely reality, which is why I keep doing this, because, well, being a better person is nice. I've always strive to be that. Always strive to just not be a weirdo, which I am. I'll always be. But if I were to choose between being a weirdo and not being entertaining and an entertaining weirdo, then of course an entertaining weirdo is so much better. So I'm just so prideful yet humble at the same time that I can just do that. Really gluttonous for attention. It's not even pride. Pride is putting your worth up there, whereas it really is just gluttony at this point. Overconsumption. Which it does definitely feel better that it's just that instead. It really is interesting how many girls are represented as that. This really is that extra thing that just makes me just interested in a lot of things that girls are like. Not to say that all girls are gluttonous by any means. I just feel a lot of women, and I just feel like we're always at the bottom and always like being at the top for once. Yeah, I can't really speak for all the women out there, and as well as there also being other guys like me out there too. I know there is quite a few of you who want to be in the spotlight. I can certainly relate. Yeah, Nightcall's also something that a lot more girls like than boys. Although I can't really name too much else. Oh, other from Cider, of course. But sure, there's still so many other things that I just like that girls just probably aren't that inclined to believe in, but yeah. It's just funny that I found a third thing that just I'm unconsciously doing that just... yeah. A lot of other people of the other gender just like a lot more than my actual gender. Well, then, my gender. Don't know, I need to say actual. Yeah, you gotta believe me, I'm not a girl in disguise. That would be weird. Because if I was, then I would definitely be a girl. I mean, I'm a guy and... well, I suppose that reality set in. Although, chat, being a girl is just way more likely automatically to become a VTuber. They just have two giant reasons for you to want to watch, as well as just generally being more social. I mean, I suppose if I group myself into, like, what women like, just being VTubers and listening to night calls, Cider, something, yeah. Oh yeah, Gluttony as well. And I suppose I would likely be a VTuber too. But if only it was that simple. Especially I don't even really drink cider. I think I've only ever had one sip in my lifetime, and it was just the tastiest thing in my... well... ever when it comes to drink. It felt so good to have cider. I mean, it might have been my drunken mind, because I already had 2 beers, and I was just drinking them really quickly to look cool at that point, because, well, I wanted to look cool, and for the more prominent reason of just wanting to not have to hold something. Because, yeah, you can't blame me, holding something's tiring. And I would have just chugged a beer when I had the other beer in my hand, so I chugged that one too. I would definitely be the type to throw up at a party. If I drank beer. Although I don't really think I'm gonna go that deep. Welcome to the jungle, it gets worse every time. Walking through the alleyway, sitting next to Mr. Mime. Pokemon is the greatest show and it's really good, right? It feels so good, it's living good and it's night, yeah. My body's going to sleep. I'll definitely learn to be more entertaining. To say the least, I'm just a little baby fetus in an eggshell waiting to be cracked. Unlike Jax, of course. That guy just is always going to be in that fetus. I really put a rock solid shell over him just to not go insane when he's already putting himself in a very bad position where he is more likely going to go insane because of that attitude. Damn. I still love Jax as a character. Best character ever. I also like Walter's realistic, but then just having somebody who's just so delusional, just not in like religion, because well, religion does go, but just in a harmful way that just isn't really to do with locking yourself to the point where you're just unconscious or barely conscious. That's why I like Jax. And then again, saying religion's delusional isn't that good of an idea, because well, it's just like, what if it isn't, in a way, because well, this entire time, being an atheist could end up sending me to hell, where I'm actually am just not able to get used to the fire like I've been telling all the people in my engineering class. Because, yeah. All the time, there's just a whole bunch of people just arguing about who to praise. Like, oh yeah, the God above Jesus or Jesus. Like, I don't know, both seem like pretty chill dudes, but those guys just want to prove each other wrong, I suppose. It's just like, look, God is God. Now stop fondling over Jesus and praise him more. Because there was this guy who was praising Jesus instead of the God who made Jesus, so... I mean, I suppose that is just religion lore, I suppose. Or Christianity lore, I should say. Well, to be fair, Jesus was the one who actually did stuff, so... I can definitely see why it's both just arguments why they would think which way and why the other would step on the gas as soon as the other guy wants to brake. I don't really know though. Yeah. It really does make me wonder how long it would take in order for my dog to just stop barking. Definitely is good that I'm actually looking after the animals more today. I mean, ours is still just, well, oh, I didn't last night because he decided to move again. Almost like he just wants his dinner at breakfast or something. So that's just how he is. He feels he should only wait a certain amount of time, and I mean, if it exceeds a little bit, it's fine, but if it goes below, then it isn't. Definitely does go to show that just he's stubborn. Oh yeah, I'll dish out his meal again if he moves. That's on him. Because I even given him like 3 chances last night. He stood up at the beginning just almost seeing what I was doing because he wants to see what I'm doing. I tell him to sit back down, he sits back down. I'm then in front of him just preparing the meal. He then stands up again. He sits down instantly after that. So I give him a pass because, well, I think, oh yeah, the dog's actually starting to learn. He's sitting down when I'm like staring at him just intensely. So he now knows that he's just not able to really do that. And then he just goes ahead, stands back up, creeps forward, and I haven't even started counting it, so then I just give him another chance even, and then I just put a 5-minute timer on, prepare my own meal, and then he just straight away lies down out of boredom, and bam. The dog just doesn't get his dinner at dinner time. And I overshot that one. Hardcore parkour. Oh my goodness. It may be horrible, but not that horrible. Yippee. One day, sure, Devoid will be beaten, but yeah, not today. So yeah, hope you guys, well, like the stream, and yeah, I'll see you guys later. Bye.